Alrighty fellas, good morning. Yo, what's up? My name is Patrouski. Welcome back to another PokeMMO stream recap episode, your daily source of news, tips, tricks, information, discussion, what's happening inside the PokeMMO community every single day. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Let's go ahead and jump into things. First things first, we only have one catch event to talk about today, but it is a very important catch event. It's a catch event that could literally save you 1,000 hours. I talked about it recently, or it should be in a stream recap, I believe, the other day. It's coming up on the 1st of February, Sunday at 3 p.m. ET over in Petalburg Jail, everybody's favorite location, Petalburg Jail. You have 1 hour to catch Shroomish, Slackoth, Trico, Pokeyen, Zigzagoon, and I believe all of these Pokemon, at least Shroomish is quick ballable. I think Shroomish, Pooch, and Zigzagoon are all quick ballable. I'm unsure on Slackoth. Trico is definitely not. You probably don't want to pop lures. You won't encounter Trico without lures at this location, and it's probably better to not pop lures during this event to maximize your Shroomish catches. You could use a adamant synchronized Pokemon and just lead and spam quick balls. This event is so important because there is a shiny Shroomish up for grabs. One of the most, maybe the most single encounter shiny hunted Pokemon in all of PokeMMO, the most single encounter shunted spot over in Petalburg Jail. It has really good spawns. Even if you're only there for the catch event, you have good chance for a shiny. It's a very pragmatic, very usable shiny with that shiny Breloom. Breloom is the best catching Pokemon in PokeMMO. Everybody's got to catch Pokemon. It's one of the best shinies in the game, and it's like a 1,000 hour shunt on average. So being able to win one from a 1 hour catch event, you could literally save yourself 1,000 hours. It is no joke. Next up, Team Synergy keeps fucking winning, dude. Shout out to Team Synergy, creating really cool tools and resources for the PokeMMO community. I have no idea what it even takes to make something like this. I can't imagine, right? They were able to create, code, and make a PokeMMO encounter generator. What this means is it makes you a custom encounter theme fully generated. Here, I haven't tested this yet, but my wife has. Here's an example of my wife's custom made encounter utilizing this tool. If you don't have to have, the knowledge, all these coding elements anymore, Team Synergy took care of it for you. This is it's like almost a futuristic tool to a boomer mind like myself. Like, this is crazy that it can exist. It actually blows my mind. This is a really beautiful encounter my wife has. And see that horsey in that bottom middle? It constantly rotates. It goes through, she set it up to where it goes through all of her OT shinies. Her like horsey, her Litwick, her Numel, like it goes through all of them. Her recent Swablu, so you can just customize it in so many cool ways. This is an insane tool. I can't believe it exists. It should be linked in the description of this stream recap. If it's not, yell at me rudely, but maybe politely afterwards in the comments. All right, and then next up, this is really funny because number one, it tells me that PokeMMO staff members are kind of sick of answering this question. And number two, I don't know, it's just funny. Guys, we finally have it. We have a quiz you can take to see if you are shiny locked. Now, for those who don't know, the problem is every time I bring up shiny locked, the term shiny locked brings up a lot of paranoia and fear to a lot of people, and understandably so, because people put so many hours into shiny hunting. The idea of them being shiny locked is really scary. What if I wasted all my time? Especially if you've never gotten a shiny before, you get really paranoid. The easiest thing I always say is, if you have 8 gym badges, you don't even need the Elite 4 done. If you have 8 gym badges in any one region in PokeMMO, it is now impossible to be shiny locked for the rest of time. Shiny lock only exists to stop bots. It's an anti-bot tool. These kind of things exist in most MMOs, in most video games, where they turn off your ability to grind early game Pokeyen or certain activities. Yeah, someone said I'm Zapdos locked for real. It's a meme to be like, oh yeah, I'm this locked. It's become a bit of a joke, which is funny. But they finally invented a tool where you can go over to their website and just click, use the following to see if you're shiny locked. Do you have 8 badges in any region? So any one, if you have 8 badges, you'll never be locked. If that's your worry, just get 8 badges in one region, you'll be fine, right? 8 badges, boom, you are not locked. Puggies, we did it, guys. Not shiny lock achieved. Now, if you refresh, let's say I'm a newer player. I've only got 4 hours. Do you have 20 hours or higher playtime? 20 hours is a lot. They actually changed it. I think it used to be before they changed it. Let's say yes, I do, but the most newer players wouldn't have this, right? But obviously, if you're like still on the storyline or whatever, let's say yes, I do, right? Do you currently have dinner status? Nope, no dinner status. Currently have shiny charm. Nope. You could be shiny locked. I respect that they're like, you know what? You may be shiny locked. Please progress in the storyline. If you're ever paranoid of being shiny locked, if you're ever worried about it, what I always say is just get 8. Just get 8 gym badges. It's really easy. It takes 1 day. You know, it's not too crazy. As long as you have 8 gym badges, you'll in any region. That doesn't have to be in the region you're in any region at all. Yeah, just what I think it's cool they made this. It's just a cute little thing to link out to people if you're paranoid, if you're worried. And I understand. Once again, shiny hunting in PokeMMO very, very difficult. It makes a lot of sense why someone might second guess, like, oh shit, I hope I'm not locked because I put so much time into this. I totally get it. Just get 8 gym badges done, and you're probably in the clear. All right, next up onto the PokeMMO community showcase. If you want to see yourself featured in the showcase, there's a lot of stuff I'm behind on. There's so many players doing so many cool things. I love showing off these. These are achievements that players have done, and it's a way to shout them out, number 1, and also number 2, inspire you guys to maybe go after these same goals, or just keep in mind. Also, the third thing is perspective. I think keeping in mind with the average PokeMMO player, or not even above average, if you're in my Discord, if you've seeked out a third platform, you know, a secondary platform to talk about, discuss PokeMMO, you're probably like on average an above average player, right? The same, like I don't play, you know, I play Terraria and I just kind of play on my own little, you know, no wiki, like on my own time. I'm a hyper casual, right? But other Terraria players would view me as like a turbo noob, but that might be like the average Terraria. It's one of those things, like, you don't want to be too turbo online and lose perspective of what is an average PokeMMO player, because even though we only see these like experts or people like put like hundreds or thousands of hours into the game, that's not always normal, right? But anyways, my point is, congratulations to Blaze or Blaze, who got his 3rd Pokedex complete, 3 out of 5. I loved when they added Mount Silver. I loved when they added Pokedex completion rewards. I think it was one of the coolest things in PokeMMO, so I love shouting out this, you know, slow progress towards that. He also was able to get Arceus. I don't have Arceus on my main account or my Iron Man account. And, you know, I've been playing this account for how many hours? Like 10,000 hours or whatever. This guy's Arceus with only 3 Pokedexes done. Dude, congratulations, man. That's a really fucking cool thing in my opinion. All right. Next up, onto Saint Kigo, who got his first ever shiny Pokemon, shiny Pidgeot. Pretty simple, pretty cool to see. Really good stats: 30 HP, 30 defense, 29 speed def. The only thing he even mentions, the only thing missing is the speed and that nature, but otherwise, beautiful Pokemon, beautiful first shiny. Congratulations, Saint Kigo. Next up, J.A. Alex got his 2nd shiny. Congratulations. At 50,000 encounters, a pretty solid grind if you ask me. 31 speed def on the shiny Poliwhirl. Congratulations, J.A. Alex. And then next up, this guy, Abuse, is going for the ultimate complete Pokedex. He has gotten all of the King of the Hill. I love achievements and grinds like this. All of the King of the Hill legendary Pokemon. For those who don't know, that takes, I don't even know how many hours on average each. It depends. Some can be really quick. For those who don't know, the King of the Hill legendaries, things like Mewtwo, Keldeo, I believe Rayquaza, Arceus is one of them. You can go find them naturally in the wild at like a very rare chance. And then once you get it, or once someone else gets it, you're forced to accept any incoming PvP battle requests. And then if they beat you, they can actually take that legendary away from you. So you can't permanently own Mewtwo, Rayquaza. If you log out, it goes back to the wild. There's all these, you know, rule stipulations around it. But it's a cool, like, King of the Hill style minigame. And for a very, very long time, those were the only legendaries in PokeMMO. Prior to the roaming legendaries and the Heatran raid, Cresselia raid, thank you, Switty, for the sub. Goodness, thank you. Prior to all those, like, permanently, like, these were the only legendaries in the game for so long. And this guy, I think it's really cool to go for this. It's definitely an under-hunted achievement, in my opinion. So congrats to Abuse over at Team Optic. He's missing Meloetta still, but that's obviously a permanent raid that just came out really recently, so it makes total sense. And then next up, I love this image, dude. Shout out to Jonky for messaging this image. This is shiny hunting RNG at its purest form. 70,000 encounters dry for a shiny Tentacruel on the first shunt. Second shunt, 376 for a Wooper. If you shiny hunt long enough, you'll see stuff like this. If you shiny hunt, the more shiny hunts you do, it increases your odds of RNG evening out and just becoming on average. It just makes total, the more data points you have, the more average and normal and smooth things look. So just congratulations. I think it's a really cool shunt to see, though, to see this stuff in the short term. 376 counter Wooperman. Congratulations, dude. And then finally, the final showcase. I try to save the best for last. I do got a meme on you guys. Really? You're gonna have a shiny Munchlax and you got a screenshot with your fucking cell phone? I respect it. Hey, you do what you gotta do, but we gotta learn. We gotta teach you guys how to use some screen cap programs. Oh my goodness. Anyways, elevated skills. What you lack in software, you make up for in fucking 6 shinies, man. Congratulations. Shiny Munchlax gotten from a honey tree. He said he was just doing the Sinnoh Pokedex. He was just doing the Pokedex, and he ran into a shiny Munchlax at 8,600 encounters, 3 total Munchlax encounters. This is a very rare spawn from a honey tree. I love honey tree shinies, man. Really cool shiny hunt that a lot of high-end players will do. It's decently expensive, but you have some chances for some really cool shinies. Congratulations over to Elevated. Yeah, shiny Munchlax is crazy, and it from a honey tree is bonkers. It's bonkers, dude. Congratulations over to Elevated, man. It's a sick shiny. And that begins our stream recap. Make sure to like today's video if you enjoy it. Subscribe, follow on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday. Discord's down below. You guys know the drill. Just have a good time, enjoy the content, and let's jump into our daily grinds. And we're talking about pure yen money making methods, and when I say pure yen, it doesn't necessarily mean like only trainer runs, or obviously I recommend doing your gym. If you do your gym run every day and then just save that money, that's probably most of, if not all, the Pokeyen you need to make. You know, most players don't need more than 300,000 Pokeyen a day. Obviously, if you're doing like egg hunts or like crazy, for sure, right? But like if you just do a gym run every day for a month, it's so much Let's do the math really quick. You know, it's like 300k times 30, like it's 9 million Pokeyen. Obviously you're gonna be spending some, but like if you just do a gym run a day for a month and don't spend it, it's 9 mil Pokeyen right there, and that's 1 hour a day. That's obviously, you can be, oh, it's a month of Pokeyen, but it's also like only 30 hours. It's also 1 hour a day, right? Or you can do your trainer rerun and your Jimmy run. That's 2 hours every day for 500k, right? Multiply that by 7. In a week, you're making 3.5 mil. That's really, for consistency. I always say, we all know it, but consistency far more important. Did I get screwed here? I cooked my, speaking of Jimmy runs, as I forgot to go heal and obliterate this run, but that's okay. Ignore that. What was I saying though? Yeah, just consistency. Consistency is more important than trying to make crazy amounts of profit per hour. Obviously, flipping and stuff is good. And when I say pure yen, it doesn't need to be Jimmy runs, trainer runs. It can be things like Ditto. Ditto boxes are pure yen. They sell so quickly, right? They are in such high demand. That is basically pure yen, right? You're never going to sit on a Ditto box. The same is true with amulet coin farming, with fossil farming, right? A lot of item stuff. The only thing that I don't consider like non-pure yen methods, I think of like catching Pokemon for profit, breeding. You could argue like shiny flips, but that's flipping is so good that the margins and the speed are so much that as long as you have the capital, that doesn't it kind of gets the outlier. Obviously, flipping is always going to be good, but I would try to avoid. I would avoid breeding for profit right now. Avoid methods that I'm cooking this run. Avoid methods that rely on waiting for things to sell too long at the moment. Obviously, that can change. That will change during the upcoming Lunar New Year event when the demand for good IV Pokemon and the demand for raid mons comes back. I do think a sleeper thing. I think EV trading and XP trading is underrated right now. Every time I've tested that recently on the main account, I've made good Pokeyen. Every time I EV trained Magikarps into Gyarados and sold those very quickly for storyline Pokemon. I XP trained level 100 Typhlosions and those sold so fast and made good Pokeyen. Which is a good, like, it's good when you can EV train and XP train and make like 150 to 250k Pokeyen per hour depending on what market you're doing. That's really, really good. And that's just hard work. That's literally just anyone can make Pokeyen and PokeMMO. It takes time and energy. It's hard, don't get me wrong, it's hard, but anyone can do it. It just takes time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears. I'm so glad you mentioned this, Josh. Josh said, I wish we could do layered cosmetics or multi-slot cosmetics, like having the ninja mask plus the hat or sunglasses. I think that there's a lot of cosmetics in PokeMMO that need to get moved to the face slot. I think certain cosmetics are just outdated, and the face slot is very, very new. This is like very, very, very new. This is like a new, we haven't had this for a long time. But now we have the face slot. And on the face slot, you can have things like the Santa beard. I think earrings might also be in the face slot, but I could be wrong. If they're not, they really, really should be. I don't know what slot these count as. Let's see. Cosmetic. There's not, you can't even face items. Yeah, they're not in the. Are these in the hat slot? Why are, like, that's a great, why are earrings in the hat slot? You can't wear a hat and earrings? Like that, to me, that's probably a huge reason why a lot of people don't wear this vanity, because why would you give up your hat slot for earrings? You know, not worth it, right? For most people. I think, yeah, I think we'll see a big vanity overhaul in the next year or two, where they make a lot of those face, and that could impact the markets. I love the vampire fangs. One of my favorite dumb, very small vanities in PokeMMO, the vampire fangs. You can't even see, I have my Santa beard, so you can't even see them. They also look like the nerd emoji teeth, which is awesome. But this, the vampire fangs, is a hat vanity, and it's so small you can't even see them under my Santa beard, right? This is the perfect example of a vanity that should, in my opinion, get moved to the face slot, right? And I love this vanity. I own a copy, so maybe I'm probably biased, right? But I think that this vanity could easily get moved to the face slot and makes way more sense. I think moving a ton of vanities like that, a ton of vanities to the face slot would allow for more layering without even being that complicated. We already have the slot, so it is just a recoding and like refixing, which is probably a lot of work, to be fair. I can't imagine the visual overlaying on stuff like this, but I would love to see that in the next year or two, hopefully in Pokemon, but we'll have to see, of course. Dude, someone said to go check out how many Shalpha, secret Shalphas are on the GTL. That's a good, there's only one. There's only one. So obviously, and it's from a dusk ball. It's from a fucking mysterious ball. That's the, for those who don't know, Shalphas are obviously extremely rare. The main way people get Shalphas are by breeding. You can get them by randomly checking, obviously, alpha Pokemon and just, you know, but also what's crazy is like, these dust balls weren't 100%. This is from the recent event. These dust balls had a very low alpha rate. No, like they weren't guaranteed alphas, similar to like premier balls or like other balls that have been in the past. It's not guaranteed alpha. It's like the alphas are pretty rare, correct? So like rolling, I think someone had like 1 to 5 alphas in like 100. Oh, I'm ruining this gym run, but that's whatever. It's a chill day. I think someone saw like 1 to 5 alphas in 100 mysterious dust balls around that, for example. So to roll the alpha is already rare. To roll the alpha and then have it come out shiny, that 1 in 30 is insane. To then go beyond that, which is just ludicrous, to roll the shiny on the 1 to 5, you know, alphas per 100 balls, plus it come out secret, which happens at a 1 in 16 chance. It's like, imagine hitting a 5% into a 1 in 30,000 roll into a 1 in 16. I don't know what the math on that is, but that's just, it's unbelievable. This sentence is a little bit psychotic, but I've talked about, I think I'm gonna go dry on my Ironman account this shiny hunt. I think I deserve it. I think I deserve a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of hardship on my Ironman account. I've been too lucky on this account since its inception. I think this hunt will at least go 70k dry. I would be down to even go 100k, 150. I think, but this brings the point of like, I think I'm at the point, this might be a little bit of just psychotic, I don't know what it is, nature, whatever, but I think I'm at the point in my shiny hunting career where I find it more interesting to go dry than to go wet. Like, if you get a wet shiny, you're like, oh, that's really cool, that's really crazy, I didn't even earn that, but you know what, it's neat, I guess. I wasn't expecting that, right? If you go 150k dry, you're like, look at all this hard work I did. Look at this fucking grind. Look at this. I actually earned it, you know? Now, it's easy to say that when I'm doing like ×5 hordes and single encounters. I don't wish anybody in their Nan to go over like 30k dry on eggs. That shit is built different, you know? There are like, don't get me wrong. But I think I am, but in terms of like single encounters and like, especially ×5 hordes, I'm at the point where like, I don't mind going dry. I think it's once again, enjoy. Most shunners understand this. Appreciating the journey and loving the journey is so much more crucial than the destination, especially in life and shiny hunting. I think it carries you a lot further, and it'll help you have a lot more fun. And it's just, I think it's the true meaning of Christmas, the true meaning of shiny hunting, you know? No, I love this sentence. If you're using premium lures, you best be rich as fuck. Yes. I try, and I've done the math a million times. Premium lures, legendary lures, super not worth it, right? They're fun. They're fun. And if you want to do it for fun, more power to you. Hell yeah, have fun. You know, that's more important, right? But the amount of people who are like, man, I'm going for the legendary, you know, Patrouski. I'm 15,000 encounters deep. I've popped 30. I've drained all my Pokeyen. I've popped 30 legendary lures, like, and I haven't gotten it. My first response is, fuck, dude, I'm so sorry. That sucks, right? Like, that's my second response is like, why did you pop 30 legendary lures? I almost never, I never say that because that's rude. I don't want to be a dick, right? That's not the important thing. They're already dry. They're already in a tough spot. I would never actually say it to them, right? But part of me is like, no, like if you're watching this and you're thinking about popping legendary lures, don't. Dude, they're so expensive. Like the amount of people I see who pop them and are like newer players as well. If you're a rich player, legendary lures, premium lures, do it for fun. The post premium lure clarity feels awful. Yeah, heed our warning. Everybody knows this. Heed our warning, right? The amount of newer players who are like, oh, I'll pop some legendary lures to speed up my shunt and get it finished up with, right? And then they pop it, they don't get the legendary. I've seen so few legendaries gotten on legendary lures, I'll be honest. And then now they're drawing the legendary, have no Pokeyen, and are bummed and demotivated, and that can make a person quit. Like that, like it's that bad, right? So just please, if you're a newer player especially, don't pop legendary lures. Just a little PSA, no legendary lures, no premium lures. They are very, very expensive. I almost never pop those. I'll do maybe like once a year during shiny wars for fun. They're more of a for fun activity. The rest of the communities, we've made the mistake, so you don't have to, that type beat. But I'm also stubborn, so if you need to make the mistake yourself, hey man, more power to you. I totally get it. Okay, we have a question in chat from Maladath. If I'm gonna TLDR. If I'm understanding correctly, you were asking when you get a ×5 horde, not via Sweet Sun, a wild single encounter ×5 horde, right? When you get that and you're legendary hunting, does that ×5 horde count as 5 individual encounters towards the Zapdos, the legend, whatever it is, or is it one roll? It is, from my understanding, it's one roll. Yes. For those who don't know, the devs explained it somewhere. The way it works, obviously with shinies, the shiny rolls per Pokemon. You have a chance for the shiny to replace any of the Pokemon, right? But with legendaries, the legendary replaces the entire encounter, not just the one Pokemon. You can't so if you are luring and you get a double encounter, you can't have Entei next to a Jigglypuff, right? It has to be the legendary takes over the entire encounter. So a single encounter that is a wild ×5 horde is just one chance at legendary, which can make your math a little bit off, but it's usually that's why if someone's single encountering and they're at a spot where they get a fair bit of ×5 hordes randomly from single encounters, technically, let's say you do 20,000 single encounters towards a legendary, you might be closer to 19,500. It's not that crazy of a difference, it is still a lot of your single encounters, but sometimes your numbers will be a little bit higher than your actual legendary encounter rate, if that makes sense, because the ×5 hordes are one legendary encounter chance, but ×5 Pokemon on your encounter counters. That makes sense. That's a very more in-depth detailed I think I covered this in a video somewhere. It's a great question though. It's a great question.
Well, it's been 21 days.
Yeah, great. Hopefully that answers anyone who's wondering that the more in-depth or deeper questions of PokeMMO. That's a cool one to talk about. No, roaming legendaries were literally one of the coolest updates in PokeMMO history, the way they did them, because who remembers, they shadow dropped roaming legendaries, if I recall correctly, during Johto's release. So they dropped Johto as a region. Everybody was racing to get the storyline done. And then the first few people who got the storyline done and did some single encounters in Johto randomly ran into Suicune. And we thought it was a joke. We thought people were lying about encountering legendaries. It was insane. They just shadow snuck this massive update, roaming, the first ever permanently ownable legendaries into the game. And you had stories of people oh yeah, I ran into Suicune today, and you're no, show a screenshot. There's no way. It blew our minds. I think PokeMMO is one of the few games that does content like that. Yeah, the first Suicune on the GTL was 500 mil. Imagine. I think cool little content updates like that it keeps gaming alive. I think it's a really, really beautiful feeling. It was surreal. There is a special, not to feed into FOMO, but damn, there is a special feeling when you are online for certain updates in PokeMMO. It's a really, really cool experience. Being online, Johto's release in 2023 was hands down easily one of the best experiences I've ever had gaming. Like, everybody was in love with the storyline. Casuals were having the time of their life. Hardcore players were having the time of their, like, it was, everybody was just having a blast. Johto's release was, it was delayed forever. I'll never forget. That was a huge drama. Like, Johto's, they gave it a release date and they missed Johto's release date like 3 times. People were pissed. And I've never seen the community's frustrations evaporate quicker than when Johto finally released and everybody was like, oh my god, it's a perfect update. Like, it was, I think we need something like that, where I would love to see a market update like that, or some sort of big, like, I'm hoping we see something like that hopefully soon. But that was an immaculate time, dude. Who remembers? That was one of my another favorite Johto release memories, when Johto released and someone else told me the bug. They, like, it made it clear to me, someone found a bug where you could clip through the walls. And I was one of the people, thankfully, thanks to someone who shared the bug, I was able to clip into Kanto 2 during, it was the PTS, to be fair. That was during the Johto public test server. People were clipping into Kanto 2 and exploring Kanto 2. And the devs had to, like, lock off the area and be like, what the fuck, get out of there. You're not supposed to see that. And that was a huge, like, are they adding Kanto 2? Oh shit, like, blah, 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 you know? But it's just still in the ROMs. It's the files are still just there, but they hadn't, like, balanced it or done anything with it. But it was pretty interesting. It was cool that it was possible. There should be footage of that somewhere, yeah, in some old stream. Yeah, the Desu Stinks era. To this day, one of my best performing YouTube shorts is the one that's titled, "This PokeMMO Dev Allegedly Stinks." And it's all because one of the PokeMMO staff members put up a, like, shiny legendary Lugia or some shit on the GTL on a public test server titled Desu Stinks. And then I think someone else made one that was like Q Stinks, and they started just, like, having a who actually stinks who battle. It was literally the PokeMMO devs and staff fighting with themselves, like, passive aggressive legendary listings, obviously for fun, not like actually, you know. It was a good bit. No, I think you're reaching to a really interesting, like, end game problem that I think PokeMMO has right now. Ito, sorry to talk about, you know, sorry to over talk about the negatives. PokeMMO is still a great game. It's still the best Pokemon game. I would, you know, there's not, negatives don't mean it's not a great game, right? But let's, you know, clear that up. But you mentioned, like, is it worth building a Heatran team? Like, Heatrans seem decently cheap for how much the team costs to build. And I think that speaks to, you're right, like, building a Heatran team is decently expensive. Each Heatran is worth the fight's very, very hard, right? Obviously when you learn it, it's easier, but, like, it's 700,000 Pokeyen as the reward, right? And the team might be a few million Pokeyen to build, maybe around this price. It takes a long time to find a coordinated group of people. It's really, it's like finding the group of people, the learning the skill, building the team. It's very difficult, all for the reward to be like 700k. And you can do it, how often can you do Heatran? You do it like once every, is it 3 months? It's only every, it's not very often. And once you have it built, like, okay, 700k every 3 months is cool for like 20 to 30 minutes of work, but is it really worth it becomes the question. I think that's like the main, and you're talking to a big point. I don't think, unfortunately, a lot of the end game content right now in PokeMMO is pragmatically worth doing, which that's a big discussion. Does it need to be? I think some should be, right? Like the big, like, raids and stuff like that. Like, I think it is a big problem. If I'm saying, if I were playing a main account, I wouldn't have done raids this past Xmas event. That's a problem, and that's how I feel. On the Iron Man account, I loved raids, right? For the first time, right? You know, but if I were a main account, player, and this was my second event, I'd already done raids on a previous year, I wouldn't have redone them this year, you know? If the content isn't really worth doing, why have it? Well, the argument would be, like, PvP isn't worth doing pragmatically, but it's fun, right? And so there is a good, like, but not all content should be like that, right? Obviously, like, a lot of content, you want as much content to be pragmatically worth doing as possible. But I do think it's like the duality of devs should design content that feels good and feels efficient and feels worth doing, but also players, we reach a level of, like, it's min-maxing. We reach, sometimes as players, we over min-max to where if something isn't insane profit, we just don't do it. And, like, that's part of the problem too. We have to, like, you know, the point of games is to do things you enjoy. I think if you want to do the Heatran fight because it's fun to conquer, that's hell yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you should do it for that, right? But if you don't want to do it because it's not worth the money, that's also, there's no wrong way to play it, right? But I think it's important to encourage doing things that aren't always efficient or aren't always pragmatic is fantastic, right? But I do think we have a huge, the problem right now leans way too far in the other direction, to where there is way too much endgame content right now is not super worth doing. E4 reruns, you know, I would love to see a buff there. King of the Hill farming is fine to not be pragmatic, because it's like more of a for fun thing. So there's some stuff that is for fun that can just be like, you know, whatever, right? We don't need to buff that. PvP, some small, you don't need it to be like that amazing in terms of rewards. I think the holiday PvP is a great move in the right direction, is like fantastic. And I think some obviously hidden ability access to PvP rewards, we've talked about that a million times. What else though? I think seeing buffs to E4 reruns, I think seeing buffs to, or even like nerfs that help the economy, that make the cut. Once again, like casual players, when they hear the word nerf, grr, that means bad for me, grr, angry, I'm caveman. Like, no, that's not what it means. Like, nerfs and buffs should both be good things for different reasons, right? If we nerf the Ho-Oh refight or nerf certain things that could help the economy and make that fight be more profitable and more worth doing. If we nerf alphas, it could bring back catching for profit, allowing more players to make more Pokeyen via a more diverse method, as well as it's a beginner friendly method in catching for profit. So like, nerfs are a good thing. Nerfs, I hate it should be obvious, but like, I hate having to make that qualification, right? Nerf alts, no, alts are balanced. I'm pretty I'm neutral on alts. I don't know if they're balanced or not. I'm a big fan of, have different opinions. I'm a big fan of alt accounts. I like that alt accounts are higher effort for more reward. But certain, they've already worked to nerf alts in certain ways, like needing OTs for certain raids is a nerf to alt, which is really good. Like that, like I think when Danny got like 45 Jirachis when that first released and he made like 180 mil, the devs were like, oh shit, we need, like, that was a good, I think that was a good nerf. I think things like that, like small little things like that, you don't need to, like, don't stop alt accounts, but I think small things that encourage you to put more effort into that alt, like the OT is like a fantastic restriction. All right, fellas, today was very much a chill day. I appreciate you guys letting me have that on like a fun little snow day. Tomorrow should be a lot more of a locked in. Today we'll be covering more forum posts, be covering more, you know, content, reacting to more stuff. We have a lot to do tomorrow, okay? But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, boys. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, terrible timing from Clarko. Like this stream if you enjoyed it. As always, means the world to me. Subscribe for daily PokeMMO videos. I do upload every single day. Follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below if you're interested in that. If you want to go above and beyond and support me, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, PayPal, Venmo, you guys know it allows me to be here. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but for now, peace, Arena. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here. I wanted to take this second to say thank you so much for watching the entire video. It is thanks to people like you I'm able to make the content that I do, as well as everybody whose name is listed here. That's it for me. Have a fantastic day.